Hey, dear Earthlings, Elaine here. We're going to go into the spiritual awakening process and peel the onion back because I know right now there's so much out there in the media regarding the spiritual awakenings, ascension, the new earth energies. It can be so overwhelming. So I wanted to start a series of videos so we can, whoever is in the beginning stages, can really reset and just begin from the inception, right? Because we need to lay a strong foundation and build from there. So I am Elaine Rodriguez, also known as Light of Elaine. I am an intuitive healer, empath, Reiki teacher, and also previously was big with the corporate world leadership, and now I've blended the two worlds, focusing on the spiritual path and the energetics of the universe, combining neuroscience, hypnotherapy, and different modalities. I truly believe that in order for us to really transcend and transform, we need to understand how the mind, body, soul works together and create that realignment. So with that, thank you for tuning in. The whole thing we've been dealing with all our lives from the inception, from birth, is we're brought into this reality, this incarnation, and we're put under these templates, right? The minute we're born, we're told like how to be conditioned, and we're nursed and nurtured and loved if you were lucky enough to get that in the early years. So we forget who we are because our soul has a DNA that is infinite. It travels with us from lifetime to lifetime. So we innately begin to forget who we are. We become conformed to these conditionings, and we're taught like how to be, how to think, what to do. If you experience any early wounding with trauma, anything resonating with shame and guilt, those are all low vibrating energies that we become familiar with from an early on, and it starts to condition us to who we are. And then we realize later that we became this person that we really aren't because we were conditioned to be that person. And it's nothing directing or blaming, because it is what it is. Everyone's dealing with some form of identity shift or understanding of who they really are. If you don't follow along with what's going on with the energetics, that is fine, but you may still have felt the shifts taking place and just don't understand where it's coming from or why is it even happening. We left, we're actually in the end of clearing the Pisces energy of patriarchal like control, and also we're seeing a lot of shifts taking place right now with the bigger planets coming back to us. So I'm going to speak from the lens of, think of it as like a smorgasbord of spirituality and energetics combined. That's going to be my spin, and I really want to connect to the person that's just beginning on their journey to understand from the layman's perspective what's going on. So we go through all our lives, right? Being told how to be. Religion has also come into play, which also has hardwired a lot of our belief systems. Condition us to believe that we're separate from God, source, and feeling like we're not worthy, and feeling like we need to comply with the perception of others, or what are people going to say, and all the different things. And also like falling into certain behavior outlines of, this is what you need to do in order to get that, so this is how you have to behave in order to achieve this. And while that's true, a lot of the times we do need to implement certain actions and strategies to get to our goal. We sometimes don't realize that we have so many ways to get to that destination. And the same thing with spirituality. There's so many ways for you to get to that inner light, inner path that's inside of you that has all the answers. But we're taught this is the only way to get there. This is the only path. In order for you to do this, it's a linear thinking. And we're breaking that mold. No more. It's basically, we're seeing things collapse and fall apart. Corporate structures, governments, All of the things that we believe to be true, because we were taught to go under this whole, like, I call it puppetry. This is how you have to be. This is how you have to do. Okay, well, this is not who you are. So I'm here to deliver this message that if you're living through your life feeling unhappy, feeling empty, feeling like you don't have a strong purpose, you may have begun at certain points, and everyone's journey is completely different. Everyone's in a different time in their journey, and we need to meet people where they are and respect that. So we realize that we're not happy. We're living in autopilot. There's got to be more to life than just floating through it every day, going to work, coming home, paying bills, tending to the family. There's got to be more to it. So you start to look for answers, and then you start to get excited because you make all these discoveries. But our ego mind, which is what we've been conditioned to follow, basically, it's there to protect us and also give us the answers we think we're looking for, because that's all we've known all of our lives. You can't do this, you can't do that. All the limited beliefs, all of the things that we thought we were, is what our ego, our subconscious mind, is programmed by. So when we start to awaken and we start to see things through a different lens, we start to realize that that is not it. This is not the answer. So you start to rebel and go against the grain. I know of me, when I left corporate, it was just a big deal because it was all I've known. You work hard, you climb the ladder, and then you keep winning and succeeding. But there's just so much inside of you that you can tap into that is not reliant upon the external world. When you make that understanding, you start to see things from a wider lens, a wider perspective. And it's important to eliminate negativity that's around you and manage what your thoughts are. Is this something that is recurring in my life that I have not learned the lesson? And you want to embrace where the thought came from or the pattern came from. And we do get moments of bliss when we start to embark on this journey, and then we go back to a disillusionment phase, and then we reawaken again, and we go through cycles. But the only difference is that the more you work through and you process and you realign who you are, the frequency and the intensity of it happening lessens. So what am I talking about? You have a false belief, a false illusion that you've given that narrative life to your entire life. And then you step into relationships, or you meet certain people, or certain circumstances happen that activate that wound, that trigger inside of you. It is showing you where you need to work. It is actually a gift. So even though it may hurt, this reconditioning process of the ego and aligning it with our soul, which is what we've known forever, it's eternal and infinite, we start to surrender to the soul and less to ego. And the ego will become less and less powerful and influential with how we move forward in certain manners. So the thing is that you need to realize that this journey is not easy, but it is so worth it, because as you release and shed the parts of you that are not true, the storyline, the templates that you've been carrying for who you think you're supposed to be, and not really honor who you are, you feel you tap into freedom and liberation. And that's what the Age of Aquarius is about. It's about being your individual self. It's about honoring your freedom. It's all things quantum, metaphysics, astrology, human design, numerology. These all have strong energies, and ancient Mayans, the Hopi tribe, there have been wisdoms that have been prophetic before that have said what is actually happening right now. Some may say we're living through the revelations at this time. All of this is pre-religion. Astrology is pre-religion. And there is an intelligent force of energy, and energy is something that is in everything and anything, and it moves. And yeah, we are faced with duality. We're faced with like the feelings, the this person's good, that person's bad, that's good, that's bad, and we feel like we need to put people in certain categories to function. But now with the shifts happening, we have two large planets that are going to form a conjunction in April, Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces. Pisces is the sign of spirituality, intuition, very like flowy and more abstract in how the thinking is, more inward. But with that, we're starting to have a collective compassion. We're starting to see things differently. We went through a lot since November when Venus entered Capricorn, and Capricorn is more steady and disciplined and really going deep within earthly energies, and Venus is the planet of love. So what am I talking about? There's outside of Earth that we have all these planets that deal with our personal selves and also our outward energies. So Venus is close to us as Mercury is, and that's the planet of harmonizing our energies and love and seeing things through new lens of beauty and art, and also basically seeing the value in things. So we've been under a pressure cooker. Venus energy is also goddess energy. So you'll see in a lot of my work, I'm super passionate about women empowerment and women rising above adversity and getting over their wounding. But Venus has been traveling in Capricorn for some time. She was in retrograde for 40 days. And with this Pluto return energy, Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth, and doesn't come by like that until like every 240 plus years. So whenever something monumental takes place, that's usually like a Pluto return. The birth of the United States, Declaration of Independence in 1776, the fall of the Roman Empire, and yeah, it's interesting that like a day after the Pluto return is when we started to see all of the ignition of the war in Ukraine from Russia. So I'm not getting into that, but I will say that we're going to see so many changes in the next 2 years, and we're shifting, we're realigning, and things have to fall apart, things have to crumble in order to build it back strong in harmony as it should be. So there may be times in your life that you're already experiencing that you cannot go back to your old self, because even if you want to, even if that's comfy, cozy, and that's all that you know, it's just the easier path, the path of least resistance, you're going to feel a resistant pull back the other direction. So we can't just be on autopilot in like zombie land, just coasting through life. We're seeing that the people that are awakened are propelling to the next level in ascension. So there's these dimensions that we're part of. 3D is our reality. We're born into it. We are going to still live in it. But our spiritual plane of human existence is elevating. So if you've already awakened, you're seeing that you're being forced to the next level, and you can't fight it. You just gotta surrender. But I'm gonna leave the video here and just leave you one lasting thought. In order for you to change your life, you need to change your perspective. When you start to see things outside of the box, you'll see that there's more that meets the eye, and you need to honor what resonates with you inside of your heart. But always discern, is this my higher self talking to me, or is this ego still trying to control me? But always show yourself love. Always show yourself compassion and self-love, because all that you pour into you, all that you do within you, you're adding so much value in healing the world just by you focusing on you and transcending your world. Sending waves of love your way. Until the next time, have a beautiful day.